Hey guys, Tisha's here and we're back. If I told you how many times I began this video recording, you would think I was lying. But for some reason, I'm extremely tongue-tied today. So let's see if we could get this done. Sister Wives, season 4, we're gonna finally meet some more of Kody's family. So everyone is at Mary's, waiting for Kody's brothers to arrive. We find out that altogether there are 10 children, 5 girls and 5 boys. Janelle says that they're used to seeing them all the time, but since they've now moved to Vegas, they don't see them as much because they live further out. We meet Scott, who is Kody's oldest brother, who is also a polygamist. He has 2 wives, 16 children, and they live in 2 homes that are right beside each other. Kody lets us know that his brother Scott is more of a by the books person, and he is the one who is a polygamist, has his practices, but he kind of toes the line a little bit more. So he's not as rigid, I guess, as his brother. You can see the family resemblance, at least between Kody and his first 2 brothers that arrive immediately. But the difference is, unlike Kody, they've let go of their hair. Kody's really excited to take his brothers out. We meet Curtis, who really looks like Kody, who is younger than him. He's the only one out of the brothers that we meet during this episode that chose to be monogamous. He says that he doesn't believe in plural marriage and he does not believe in the Book of Mormon. And when I heard this, Curtis officially piqued my interest. He says that although him and, by him, I mean Kody and Scott, have chosen different paths, that it doesn't tarnish the love that they have for him, that they were raised in a household where there was a lot of love. And to me, that's what matters most. I have my beliefs. You may have your beliefs. But one of the things that I like to do is not force my beliefs on anyone. Now, if you ask me, I'll tell you, but I don't feel like it's something that I should try to force upon anyone. And to me, out of all the belief system, what I think that we should all be aiming towards is showing each other love. So hearing him say that in their house they had a lot of love, that made me smile because I feel like that's what home is supposed to be. We see the men go out. They're riding their bikes, and the ladies are heading to a paint pottery. I don't understand why on a lot of these shows, everything that the women women do, always has to be so dainty. Like on a lot of us, well, I can't speak for everyone. I know I don't mind going to throw some axes or firing a little bit of ammo or doing something physical. I don't need to sit down and paint. I'm not going to act like I don't like it. I just feel like out of all things, the guys over there having this active thing and the girls are doing something, relaxing. We see Mary looking for things and she's struggling to figure out what she's going to paint and pick her paint colors. Mary wasn't into it. Mary lets us know that she's not a crafty person and she seems stressed out. We then meet Erica, who is Curtis's wife. She sits down and tells us how much she loves them because they accept them just as they are. She said the first time that she met the wives, she was a little concerned because she didn't know if she was going to have to be drinking a special Kool-Aid or something. And I started laughing because when she made that reference, I know that she was referring to a cult because unfortunately in some cults, that was the way that some of the people did mass suicide. Example, what happened in Jonestown with the people who followed Jim Jones. That was a cult, and they did have those people commit suicide by drinking Kool-Aid. So that's what she was saying when she made that statement, just in case you didn't know. They are Christians, and they're non-denominational. But she said what she found wonderful is how super inviting and friendly they were. I feel like that's great. I believe that we should all be that way. Imagine what Earth would be like if everyone just accepted each other despite our differences, despite our beliefs, despite our appearances, if we really just took time to embrace one another for who we are. I look at some of the things that are going on overseas and even the things that go on in our own backyard as far as racism and social injustices and even economic disparity. Like, just imagine what could happen, if there was more love, if there was more grace, if we just, cared more about one another. I'm going on another of those rants, but you'll follow me. Curtis, the monogamous one, is a simple guy who just needs a simple relationship. These are his words. And he states that Kody is a complicated guy who needs a complicated life. So this was straight from his brother's mouth, that Kody likes complicated things. We pick back up with Kody and his brothers at the motorcycle joint. We hear about how, in Kody's opinion, Curtis is in his element, yet him and Scott feel like they're not in theirs. I don't understand why, out of all places, if you don't drink and if you don't feel comfortable, why you would choose to go to a bar. There are many other places that they could have went to where they could do the same exact thing that they were doing at that bar, which was drinking water. Kody speaks about how their faith doesn't believe in consuming alcoholic beverages, but as Christians, Curtis and Erica do. For the record, there are some Christians who drink and there are some who don't drink. I know a lot that don't drink because I was brought up in a faith called Seventh-day Adventist. And one of the many things, because it does have a lot of rules, one of the many things that they do not do is consume alcohol. So it's not just, the Christians that drink. Besides that, though, there are people who aren't even religious who choose not to drink. I feel like when it comes to drinking, it's a matter of your own preference. And if you want to do it in moderation, then that's fine. Just don't be stumbling all over the place in public, making a spectacle of yourself. Spectacle? Yeah, that's the word I want. If it's not, correct me down below. Kody tells his brothers about the home building process and how they're expected to have 40%, but that's just too much and it's not something that they could afford. They then end up leaving because they have to go home to meet Michael, who's on his way. We find out that Michael is the youngest of the brothers. He is 19 years younger than Kody. He finally arrives and they go shooting, and then we see them go to the casino to get something to eat. Michael is 24, yet they're talking about him needing to get another wife. They're joking him, saying it's time. Kody says that there are some men who, as polygamists, marry both of their wives at the same time, or maybe shortly after they've married another one, or even some go as long as 20 to 25 years before they get another one. And to me, that just doesn't sound fair. You've been married to this person or these women, let's use the ones that he has, for over 16 years. And then you bring in this fourth wife who you get to experience the honeymoon phase with while you're well past that with your other wives. I think that that's kind of setting up the marriages for trouble or failure by allowing that much time to go on before you introduce a wife. Not only that, there's a significant age difference between Robin and the other wives. It's the next day, and the whole family, including the brothers, gather for their version of church service. As I was watching the church service, I was like, this looks so boring. The kids don't look like they're having a good time. It looks like they're just giving a whole bunch of speeches, and I would hate to do that. While I was writing that in my notes, Janelle said that she's so happy when other people come to the church because it gets boring listening to them talk each week. Kody looked at her when she said it, but she meant what she said, and I agree, because we've only seen the church service a couple times, and I was bored listening to them talk. Kody lets us know that he was most impressed by what his brother Curtis had to say, because Curtis was talking about basically how you shouldn't judge others just because they're not doing the things that you're doing. And Kody says that that's one of the things that he wants his children to know, that regardless of what they decide to do, that he's not going to judge them and that he's still going to love him. I can respect that. Janelle, as Leon is praying, is heard in a voiceover saying that she wonders if she hasn't communicated the things that are most important to her son, Logan, about their religion and her faith. I get what Janelle is saying, and I feel like maybe at some point, parents all wonder if they've done enough. But at the end of the day, once your children are of age where they're out of the home and they're adults, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. I can speak for myself. I was very heavily involved in church. Like, you couldn't tell me anything. I was there 3, 4, 5 times a week. I was a teenager who was in charge of the youth. I did all these many things. And as soon as I got out of the house and I went away to college, that Thursday I had my first drink. That Friday, I partied for the first time at the club. And that Saturday when the church van came to pick me to go to church, to a vintage church, I did not come outside. And I haven't, I was going to say, and I haven't been back since. I've been back to church, but I had not been to the church that I was supposed to go to that was near my college. And later on, I ended up leaving, that branch of Christianity and did my own thing. But the point is, when you get to a certain age, you're going to make your decisions. And as long as you've created him to be a good person, I don't think that's something that she should worry about. But the key to her saying this is that Janelle really wanted her children, even though she said she'd be happy with what they chose, she really wanted her children to be a part of polygamy. Because she made the statement that it would hurt her to see them not participate in something that she enjoyed doing so much. So sometimes the way Janelle speaks, it makes me think that she was the one who began in polygamy. Like, we know that Christine and Mary were raised in polygamy, and Robin, her version of polygamy, but they were raised in polygamy, whereas Janelle wasn't. She came to the faith later. But Janelle speaks as someone who is extremely convicted and who has been a part of the faith for a long time. Even to this day, she feels like polygamy is the right way, because we see her in clips saying that if Kody were to change, she would love to still be a part of polygamy. Everyone then leaves. They give their hugs goodbye because church is over with, and we see the family meet with Mona at Christine's house. They let Mona know that they were very happy that they qualified, but they weren't expecting to have to pay something as high as 40% in order to get the property. Mona lets them know that one of the reasons why they had such a high down payment was because they were seeking an unconventional loan, because as always, the Browns rushed to do things, and the timeline that they gave them with needing those 2 homes caused them to have to rush. And she's saying that there is good news because they can still purchase 4 homes that are beside each other, but it would be on the opposite end of, I guess, the street that they were looking at, and that they would have to do some things to work on some stuff in order to make it so that they didn't have to have as much of a down payment. Like, one of the things is pushing the time out that they will want the homes built, giving them more time to research for financing, and working on their credit score so that they can get a lower interest, so they can put less down, like 5 to 10% versus the 40%. And of course, that would help them get a lower interest rate as well. So Robin says, so you're basically offering us a second chance of hope. So this is how we know that the family not only needs to get rid of whatever little bit of debt that they have, but they also need to get rid of Robin's debt, because we know, and we're going to find out later on, that Robin had a significant amount of debt. That was pretty much the end of this episode. It was a quick episode. I have a little bit of sad news to add. For those of you who do not know, Kody's brother Curtis, the one who was monogamous, did you guys know that he passed from a motorcycle accident? I remember in more recent episodes hearing Kody talk about his brother who passed, and I think that it's his truck that he has. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me. But Curtis was killed in a motorcycle accident back in June of 2013. And he left behind his wife, Erica, and 3 children, which is really, really sad. So when I saw that scene of them riding those bikes, I was like, man, that is just, it's just eerie. I hate to end it on this note, but I didn't know where to put that information and where to say it. So continued good thoughts, even though at this point that means it's been 10 years. Grief has no ending. And I am keeping good vibes out there for his wife and his children. That has to be hard. He seemed like he was a nice guy looking at this. I actually, while he was talking and stuff, enjoyed hearing what he had to say. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Like and subscribe. We're on the road to 400 subscribers. We're almost there. Well, actually, we're on the road to 1,000 at least. Well, let me not lie. We're on the road to 1,000. But my next goal is 400. Until next time.